I will. Am I on? Should be. Am I on? Yep. Thank you. I call to order this meeting of the Subcommittee on Professional and Occupational Licenses of the Regulated Industries Committee. We have one bill to consider today, and that's House Bill 684. I'm looking in the LC that ends in 0533. Is that what everybody's got? Okay, we'll call on the author of the bill to tell us about your bill. I don't think we want to get into that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. You're correct. That is the bill number, House Bill 684, LC 550-533. I am here this afternoon to present to you a piece of legislation that addresses an epidemic that is escalating in staggering numbers. Approximately 70 million Americans, including 20 million women, who are currently battling hair loss. And so it's an urgent situation that requires immediate attention, but the action needs to take place in the schools and the beauty industry at large. I'm not going to go into the semantics of it because I have the author of the actual curriculum, but what we're asking is that you hear the components, know that I've addressed the State Board of Cosmetology. We've got them on board because we understand how serious this is, and I want to call up Ms. Connie Judge, who is the author of the curriculum that we're asking to be put into the cosmetology curriculum in order for licensure, and I'll let her explain and answer any questions. My sinuses.
Okay, thank you. If you would, when you come to the microphone, tell us who you are and what you do.
Good afternoon. I'm Connie Judge, and I am a licensed cosmetologist, barber as well, barber stylist. I'm also a certified trichologist, and I'm the founder of National Trichology Training Institute in Stockbridge, Georgia. That gives you just a little bit about me. Okay. Thank you so much, and so thank you, Representative Taylor, for being here with us today. And I've also brought a few people in the room, of which one of them will speak alongside me as we get into this. So I want to present to this committee the critical mass and the issues that we're facing right now in the beauty industry, but in particular, my concern is what's happening in the schools. For the 40 years that I've been in the beauty industry as a master cosmetologist and a barber and an instructor, I have never seen this much hair loss in my entire career. I stand here at 70 years old and have done this for 40 years. Since the pandemic, we've seen a shift in what's happening in the beauty schools as well as what's happening in the beauty industry. And so I come from that perspective of talking about how critical it is for the students to get knowledge around hair loss, in particular, and scalp disorders. I want to also validate that I am an authorized school under non-public post-secondary education that we offer our curriculum through that particular board. Although I approached cosmetology about it when I had a barbering school in Albany, Georgia. 2 times I went to the board expressing to them that this was a need because I'm training barber students who were at that time seeing diseases of the scalp and issues on the face. And I had no knowledge to even teach my students when I approached the cosmetology board. On 2 occasions, they turned me down. So I finally went through post-secondary in 2008, 2009, and finally in 2010, they approved my school after I came back from Seoul, Korea, where they actually get a degree in trichology and traveled to London in 2008, where they actually get a certification in London as well. So the U.S. has been left behind with a lot of this level of education. But today I want to really express my serious concern about what we need to do, not just in Georgia, but across the country, because coming off of the pandemic, everything has shifted when it comes to scalp diseases, disorders, and hair loss. And in particular, now it's relating more to people's health than it's ever been before. My main concern is what's being taught in the beauty colleges. For the last 5 years, I've been on a tour, touring the colleges in the state of Georgia that are providing cosmetology, barbering, and the hair designer schools, speaking and giving them the intro to trichology. To my amazement, what I've discovered is that the instructors know very little about hair loss themselves. Thus, that creates a greater problem for the student not being able to acquire any of that. In just a moment, I'm going to ask an instructor to come up and speak with me who can attest to what's happening in the schools. So my main concern is when we look at what's happening in the beauty colleges and these students leaving to have a career in hair designing and coloring and chemical relaxation and permanent wave, connecting all of that to the health risks that we're now challenged with post-pandemic is even more critical, that the students would then get more knowledge about how to appropriate relaxers, permanent wave solutions, chemicals, dyes, colors. We also know that we've seen in the news more recently that now there are more cancer risks than ever before that is also interconnected to a lot of the caustic chemicals that students are learning how to use in beauty school. Now, I'm sure that there's a safety measure that they're learning more about, but the bridge that needs to connect right now where there's a gap is the gap in education and how trichology ties into cosmetology. That's the missing link in the beauty colleges. I've seen and looked over some of those curriculums in the beauty colleges. I've looked in the textbook, and there is a little bit of information there, but it's a teaser. When students leave beauty school and they enter into the real world of designing, styling hair, they're baffled at what they don't know and what they didn't learn. And then we have students who enroll in our program that come in our classroom and cry on the third day of class, saying, we didn't learn this in beauty school. Why didn't they teach us this? It's not a part of the beauty school curriculum to teach them about that component. However, we feel that at least a minimum of 30 hours could be infused inside of their training over an entire year that gives them a scope of what's happening in the industry and in the career field of doing hair. I looked at the statistics in Georgia right now. In Georgia, we have over 50,264 master cosmetologists. Hair designers, 1,093, barbers, over 5,000. But yet there's a missing link where those people don't have sufficient understanding about hair loss, scalp disorders, and diseases. And so I want to raise that concern to this committee that you all consider the bill that is being put before you for the transition. Did you want to add something to that? Okay, all right. And what I'd like to do I have time then to bring the instructor up for about a minute?
Yes, ma'am, but if you don't mind, I'm going to give the members of the committee an opportunity to ask you questions.
Okay.
Members of the committee, you have questions. That is Smith. You are recognized.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. How many more days or weeks or months does 50 credit hours add to someone's education?
If we infuse that inside of the 1,500 hours, it wouldn't add anything to it. There's room for them to infuse that in. I say that because I go to these schools and they're constantly looking for instructors to come and do other classes that advances the students. And so they do that on a weekly at these beauty colleges. Why not infuse some of that time in where we then put this in this bill and say, give them that, because this is something that's more critical. What they bring to the schools is more color, more cuts, more relaxers, and more reinforcement of the damage that's being done as opposed to the education.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And if I could add, y'all, some of you may know that my background is cosmetology, and when some of you may have been here when they tried to deregulate the cosmetology industry, and I fought against that and agreed with then the chairman, whom I can't call by name, to set up a continued education unit, which was the first time we ever done anything like that. And so there are a plethora of ways to infuse not only the 30 hours into the curriculum, but also under continued education units. And it would not increase the cost of the tuition nor any overhead costs to the school.
Representative Williams is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the author of this bill, thank you for bringing the bill. And to Ms. Judge, I haven't had a chance to read the bill in its entirety. I've read the high points. And there is concern because we hear more and more about some of the legendary names in relaxers in this country, particularly for African American hair. It's found to have serious cancer risk, and that's devastating. But my concerns are, and I'm looking through, tell me if it's mentioned, there are a lot of kitchen cosmetologists still in Georgia. And until we get serious about closing them down, and that's where the rubber hits the road. It gets tough. I had some folk been doing hair 30 years and they never had a license. The grandchildren are not going to the kitchen with them. So until you get to that, and I know they have trouble because we see plumbers like sanitary always having to clean the sink out because they take so much hair out. But is there anything in this bill addressing the enforcement of what this bill will bring about?
May I, let me speak to that. I think that not only is it a concern about the kitchen beauticians.
Kitchen beauty.
I wrote that book in 1988.
Really?
And published it. That beast is completely out of control.
Yes.
And there's a lack of policing and a lack of people reporting that to the board so that the board can then tackle that. But here's the other problem on the side of that. The board doesn't have enough help to even police the salons. So that's something that I would not take on me to try to address, because I think that we need more people hired, to attack that situation.
I echo that, but I think we need an overhaul of the whole industry is what we really need, but that's not going to happen. I tried to stop a bill here last year that was going to not require licensings or training for cosmetics and straightening of the hair and pressing of the hair. And I said, the very least require sanitation, because consultation includes scalp counseling and consultation, which is the same thing we're dealing with the trichology. So I think we have to be more educated so that we educate our leaders here in the legislature so that we can all get on the same page, understand the seriousness of it and the impact of it, then make the increase and change the laws, amend the laws so that we would kind of bring that down. But I'll say that to you, Representative Williams, is that we don't really go to the kitchen. If you got a little about yourself, you're not going to a kitchen titian. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that maybe get their hair braided because they de-license the braiding requirement, and so I don't know a lot of people who are going to someone's kitchen to get their hair done.
Oh, you're not looking.
Now, I mean, that's
There's a big cottage industry.
Oh, we've known it to be
business.
that, especially when they were trying to deregulate the industry, 25 years ago. That's true, but I'm just saying that because cosmetology has come a long way, I think it's a balance. I'm gonna say that.
May I put another perspective?
With that, let me recognize Chairman McDonald, and let's see what he's got to offer.
Now, mine's kind of off what Representative Williams said. Is you look at our inspectors now, the 2025, 2026 inspectors are coming. You got cosmetologist inspectors that are inspecting funeral homes and others. I mean, they're not in the industry, and for them, they have to chase like these kitchen cosmetologists. They're not going to go find them or shut them down. They're coming that business that they can walk in, whether it's the funeral home or the cosmetology place, that they can go in and look around and do all the finding. So just as Representative Williams is saying, they're not policing what they should be policing.
Right.
They're putting the pressure on the ones that are really trying to do it right.
And I thank you for that, Representative McDonald. That's why our bill aims to start at the ground in the schools. So we can't go back and try to fix all of this, but for going forward, we can at least give an opportunity to get it right, to make sure that you're getting what you need to get, learn what you need to learn, and then so that when you go out into the professional world, the professional arena, you're confident in what you're doing. And who knows, someone see you doing it correctly, another stylist sitting in the booth next to you, see you doing it correctly, we hope that it'll rub off.
Now,
But you're absolutely right.
I think you told us that you had someone else that you wanted to speak.
I did. I wanted the instructor. I brought an instructor here who, Ms. Shira Smith. I want to just give her a proper introduction. She comes with more than 20-something years of experience in the beauty industry. She's also a licensed cosmetologist and a instructor who's currently teaching at one of the beauty colleges here in Atlanta. She also graduated from our program. She came back and went back to trichology school because after teaching in the beauty colleges all those years, they were not offering anything there that could help her students. She went through our program, got the trichology training, and now went back to the schools and trying to implement it and having a struggle implementing it there because the owners are pushing back.
Welcome. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Again, I am Sherry Smith, licensed cosmetologist for 20 years. I'm also a licensed instructor of 17 years, as well as a certified trichologist for 5 years. I've been in the schools actively the 17 years, and I can honestly say that throughout these years, there's really not a lot that's being taught to the students in regards to trichology. Very little. And the things that they really need now, I've seen over the past, I can say the past 2 years alone, I've had students to come into the classroom and they find out that I'm a trichologist and that's what they want. That's what they feel like they need because of where we are today. There is a lot of hair loss out here, and if we cannot educate them on the standpoint of where they are, or as far as the hair loss is concerned, then of course they're not going to get the help that they need as far as from their stylist. So we need to be able to put that into the schools a bit more than what we have because it's just not enough. It's not enough. I can't even, speak on it the way that I should or could, more so than just behind the curriculum that they give me to speak on. So if we had it more to give, then it would be very, very helpful in this industry.
Can you help me understand just one thing while you're there? Is there a reason the schools aren't voluntarily teaching this today?
Well, I can only venture at why, but most likely it's because they don't have anyone to teach it. They do have people to come in like these young ladies that are educated in trichology, but it's like you go into school for a day and they'll bring them in and they speak to them. And I do want it for the record to be known that we've gone through the state board. We went down, when was it, about 2 months ago? And Ms. Kay, I've known Ms. Kay since she's been down there. I actually was an instructor, and I've done it all, from technician to instructor to judge. And Ms. Kay gave us our blessing. As a matter of fact, it was unanimous. The full board, after hearing and listening to the statistics and the data, gave us their full blessing with it because we know that it's a serious issue. But to answer your question, the schools don't have anyone certified or trained within their walls to be able to teach voluntarily. Okay. And that's why this particular bill issues for 50 hours for instructors and 30 hours for the students.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Are there other people that are here to speak on that bill?
I have 2 other people who are licensed cosmetologists.
She meant against.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Representative Williams is recognized for a question.
At the appropriate time, I would like to make a motion, but before I do, Mr. Chairman, I would really suggest that appropriations gets involved because I don't care how good this bill is, you got to have more inspectors paid and on the ground to see that people are doing things right. Mm-hmm. You see, if you don't see some blues on the interstate, everybody going to drive 90 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. It's got to be some guardrails, and that costs money. I see inspectors, Mr. Chairman, coming out of Savannah, which has more than any one inspector can do, and they're responsible for beauty shops all the way below Jessup. Mm-hmm. There's no way humanly possible that they can be doing a job of oversight.
That is real.
But whenever it's proper, I'll offer a motion. It
took us an actual about 20 phone calls and a trip down there to even get scheduled for the hearing. And so you're absolutely right. But I definitely will entertain that because we do need more inspectors. I remember when it was an overhaul in the early 80s, late 70s, that we were all on our pins and needles because we knew State Board would come in and do an inspection at any time, and that of course, how long ago that was. So you can imagine how many more salons have come on the scene. So I concur, and I would love to speak with you a little bit further about the appropriations part of that. Thank you.
Representative Williams is recognized for the purpose of making a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A point of clarification from the chair first. Is this for hearing only, or do we have the authority to move this to the full committee?
It's the chair's intent to move it forward today.
All right, so I move that we put a due pass on this bill, House Bill 684.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion among the members of the committee? Before we move forward, I'm going to get some advice from our legislative counsel. He has a recommendation, and then we'll see if we can get a motion to amend.
Perfect.
Go ahead. You recognize. Thank you.
On line 203, there's a date, June 30th, 2025. I believe that should read June 30th, 2026.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure why that wasn't corrected. Okay.
Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to amend on line 203 to strike June 30, 2025 and insert June 30, 2026. Do I have that motion? Representative Smith is recognized for the purpose of making it. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay, on the main question on House Bill 684 as amended, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Your bill is moved forward to the big committee.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman and members, committee members.
Thank you.
Question before you leave. All this expertise, what have you got to prevent any further loss?
Vitamins.
Thank y'all all for being here. Appreciate it.